I've been trying to put pictures at the beginning and end of the videos that are of characters that are featured in that chapter nation. So remember for more to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Take it easy, nation.
One Piece, Chapter 79, To Live.
Well, hello and welcome, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as expected at this point, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the masterfully woven tale of One Piece. The last couple of chapters have taken place primarily in flashback form to give us the background of Nami's past, Nami, Nojiko, and her adopted mother, Bell-Mère. At the end of last chapter, Bell-Mère, it was a very sad chapter. Bell-Mère had the money, only enough money to pay for the lives for Arlong not to kill her two adopted daughters, and she gave herself up. At the end of the chapter, Arlong put the gun to her head and fired, and that's kind of how things pick up right over here. There's this quick exchange, and it's kind of a flashback within a flashback where Genzo goes in, and this is actually when Bell-Mère first came back to the island, back to Cocoa Village as this kind of hardened pirate woman, with the two girls, and they were very sick. As they were nursed back to health by the town doctor, this is maybe a few days or weeks down the road. She basically says, "I want to adopt them as my own." And Genzo's like, "Are you crazy? You can't do that. You're not responsible. You're not this battle hardened, or you're this battle hardened pirate. You're not like a motherly type." And she's like, "No, I love them. I'm a grown person now. I've been out and kind of seen the world and come back, and I want to take care of these kids." So there's that whole exchange, and we see that that's kind of how that she became adopted. She became to be their adopted mother. She decided to and felt a connection with them. It then goes and takes us to that crushing scene with Arlong, shooting Bell-Mère. And as this whole thing is happening, she goes and she tells the girls, she basically says, "Listen, man, remember to just enjoy life, laugh, live, and don't worry about it. If you wait long enough, the good times will eventually come your way, and that's what she says." And then of course she gets shot. So those were her last words before she did get shot. She of course said that she loved them. And so then there's this this big Bell-Mère, and you kind of see it zoomed out from an overview view of the house with the pirates and everybody else over there. So it's certainly, like I said, not a great great thing, a great scene as far as I'm concerned. It's very moving and heartfelt. So then it goes, kind of goes back to where they're at over here, and one of his pirates comes out after searching the house and goes, "And this is where the sea charts are in the maps. I found them, And of course we know that Nami is aspiring to be a navigator and a map, a person who draws maps, right? And she's like, "Those are mine. Leave them alone." Blah blah. So Arlong's like, "Hey, wow, these are pretty good, and drawn by a kid too. It's amazing, right?" So then he's like, "Hey, grab her. She's going to come with us." And then Genzo's like, "Whoa!" And then of course Nami's revolting at that, and so's Nojiko. "Don't take my sister." And Genzo's like, "Hey, wait, hold on a second. You made a deal, okay? She's bought and paid for. Her mother died not only for her, but also paid you the money that you wanted. So you're not to harm her." And he's like, "We're not going to harm her. We're just borrowing her for right now, right?" So Genzo's like, "The fuck you are, man!" And he starts going to fight back. And everybody starts, going to kind of quell up and rebel again, or at least a few of them do, And Genzo winds up getting, basically getting the floor mopped with him. Kirubi, is told to take him out, and he pretty much does. He just, he takes out Genzo and disarms him or whatever, and they go to walk away, and as they're going to walk away, some of the other villagers start to kind of rise up and basically say, "This is bullshit. We're not going to live like this, and you can't take a kid," and So, and Nami's the one that goes and just kind of yells out. She's like, "No, please, I don't want anybody else getting hurt," because Mr. Genzo, already winds up getting slashed across the face and that's where the scar comes that he has, and that's where we can presume, obviously, from that. And he gets tore up pretty bad, and kind of taught a lesson, And that's what Arlong says. He goes, basically just teach him a lesson. Anybody who tries to fight back, but don't really hurt anybody too bad. Remember, these are our cash cows, right? So you're just like, man, what a scumbag, you know? And then you think about it because he's been doing this for 8 years. So he takes Nami off with him, and Nami goes and she even says, she's like, listen, please, nobody, I don't want anybody else to get hurt. Just it's fine, whatever, you know. So she goes off with them, you know, and they go back to presumably their ship, I guess, for the time being. It then goes and it shows a little bit of of what kind of what's going on in the village, and Genzo is going and starting to get everybody all hyped up, and I'm assuming this is maybe a day later, the next day, whatever the case may be. He starts pulling everybody together and saying, you know, hey, listen, this is bullshit. Like, they can't, you know, we found out that they were going to reside here now, or they're going to try to reside here, but we need to fight back. This is our time, okay? I mean, this is like, you know, the Star Wars Rebel Alliance, you know, they have to rebel up against the Empire, okay? That's what it is. We need to get together and, you know, fight or die. Bell-Mère knew that this shit was going to be permanent, that the Navy's not coming, nobody's coming to save us, okay? The Navy is already, you know, they're balls deep in pirates in in the Grand Line, okay? They're not going to come and deal with a little bumfuck village like us. We have to go and rise up and revolt against them and basically, you know, fight or die, man, you know. So, or fight and die, maybe. So, you know, everybody starts getting, oh yeah, and I'm going to go, and I wouldn't let anybody take a kid, and then somebody's like, I'll take at least one of their lives, even if it means losing my own, and everybody's starting to, you know, get some big balls about this because they're going to get up and go fight. So as this is happening, all of a sudden Nami comes tra-la-la back into town, you know. So, and skipping back into town. And they're like, Nami, are you okay? And are you fine? And she's like, yeah, I decided to join Arlong's pirate crew. And everybody's like, what? Did they threaten you? Did they brainwash you? Did they hypnotize you? Did they scare you? You know, and you're trying to ask her all these questions. She's like, no, you know, I'm fine, right? So Nojiko goes to kind of grab onto her arm, and it winds up going, and we see that it gets uncovered, the shirt or whatever that she has over, the covering comes off, and we see that she has a fresh tattoo, and she has the tattoo of Arlong's pirates. They're like, oh, that's the mark of Arlong and his crew, you know? So they're like, what the hell is going on? And she's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm going to be their navigator. They really like my maps, and I'm going to work with them. And they gave me this pile of money, and they said that, you know, I can buy anything I want, and they'll give me money for anything. So we kind of see how money can really be the root of all evil. You know, I mean, it's the bane of our existence. A lot of people, I mean, obviously you need it to survive. You know I'm not independently wealthy. I still have to make and earn money to support myself, my family, the internet, the camera I'm using right now, all those things. But most people let it control their lives, and we see how she basically lived in poverty and then went and had the opportunity to not live in poverty, and she jumped on that shit. So Nojiko's like, what? You can't do this. What about Bell-Mère? She died to save, and you didn't even treat her like your real mother and everything else. And, you know, and Nami gets pissed off, and she's like, yes, I did, you know, and I loved her, but here's the thing. She went and died for nothing. She lived in poverty, you know, and we never had any money. We never had anything to do anything. So fuck it. This is what I'm doing, right? So anyway, she goes, and Genzo's like, that's fine. Go ahead and leave, you know, because Nami's, you know, going to go join them. And Genzo basically said, well, he doesn't basically, he says, and don't ever come back to this village. So this is kind of the exiling of Nami. You know, she's going to join the pirate crew, and, you know, and basically money is important to her. So they're like, fucking get out of here. So we go and we see in the next scene, I guess you would say it is, you know, we see Nami, and this is maybe a few days later, I don't know, and she is sitting at the gravesite of Bell-Mère, and Nojiko kind of walks up on her, and there's a quick exchange between them, and this is where we find out about her being able to buy the village. You know, that basically, you know, listen, she talked with them, and she, you know, struck a deal with them. And if she can come up with 100 million berries, and while she's in the service of getting these 100 million berries, stay loyal to Arlong, make maps for him, you know, I guess do his bidding, whatever, right? Then he'll release the village to her, and she can buy the village back. So you see that, like I said, her motivations, yes, she was motivated by the money and the glitz and glam of what she was doing, but she also was basically like, this is what I have to do to save the village. There's no other way. She's like, when they took me back to their ship, 5 Navy ships came, and they were all destroyed and sunk by Arlong. And honestly, if they send any more, I think the same damn thing is going to happen. There's nobody that's going to help us. We're going to have to help ourselves. So Nami basically is saying, you know what, I'm going to let everybody think that I'm the bad guy and bite the bullet, but this is what it is, and this is what I have to do. So then they kind of go and they talk, and, you know, and she mentions about, you know, and Bell-Mère said that if, you know, we hang in there, better days will come, and, you know, and brighter things in our future, and happiness and this and that. And Nami goes and she makes this bold statement, and she says, I'm not going to cry anymore. And this is the part where she hardened her heart. And I'll tell you at some point down in the future, some future video maybe, about a similar experience with me, but I know how that feels because I was for years a very overly emotional person about things. It was just something that was in my nature, something that I had learned. I was very close with my mother, and she was always very much, would be upset or cry, show emotion on a whim, and I was the same way. And there was something that happened to me that that made me kind of harden my heart to things and basically say, you know what, I'm just not going to show and let out as much emotion. So I definitely can identify with and understand where she's coming from on this. All in all, like I said, it was a very touching, very good chapter. Things are progressing very well over here. I'm assuming, I don't know if it's going to come out of the flashback pretty soon or what, but like I said, it has been very good as far as character building and development, as far as what I can say. So that's how the chapter ends, and certainly let me know what you think in the comments down below, brothers and sisters. Feel free to give me a thumbs up, hit the like button if you so think I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation.
As always, thanks for watching, brothers and sisters, and remember, join the Nerd Nation. It's the right thing to do. Trust me. Tell them Jim sent you.